here, also known as the Gold Digger Girl, welcoming you guys back to another episode for our podcast. And I have a special guest today. This is Tracy, and you have Hinken on the screen, but you go by Tracy Lane on social, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Yes, and easier to spell and type in and remember and all the things. And I'm so excited to have you on because I've had the opportunity to know you for a couple of years now. And I've been able to see just you coming online and just the transformation that you as a person have experienced and stepping into who you are and what I believe that, God has created you to be. I feel like you're fully showing up in that way. And I believe that you're really going to inspire my audience. And I'm excited to have a great conversation with you today. So first off, welcome on. Thank you for doing this with me.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yay, absolutely. So for those that don't know you, can you share with us a little bit about your background? How did you become an entrepreneur? Just kind of bring us up to speed.
So I was actually in real estate, and then I opened a brick and mortar business, and we got pregnant with our miracle baby. And I found after I had him, I was really tired of having to spend nights and weekends away from my kids. And I was approached by somebody. I actually just wanted a deal on the products. I always call myself like a kidnapper or a kit whore. Because I'd sign up for anything just to get a deal. And I wanted to try these products. And they said, no, we don't actually do that. You don't get a deal just for signing up. And I was like, then why would anybody sell it? I had been in like old school network marketing where you have to do home parties. And I had PTSD. But they convinced me to look at the comp plan. And I saw that everything had sort of shifted to this online model. And I was like, oh my goodness, if I could make decent money sitting at home, like nursing my baby, how amazing would that be? And so I kind of shoved all my old ideas about network marketing aside and said, okay, I'll give it a shot. I mean, it was $500 to start or something. Like, what did I have to lose? And I ended up loving it and just had a knack for connecting with people online. I'm actually way better with people online than I am in person, I think. I like showing up online and just authentically sharing my life. And so I was able to quit real estate first, and then we were eventually able to sell our brick and mortar business. And so now I just get to be home full time and doing what I love.
That's awesome. So what was your brick and mortar?
We owned a franchise called AR Workshop. It was, they're still all over. It's basically like a DIY workshop where people come in and get to work with their hands and create like these beautiful customized wooden signs, which I'm not an artist, but we had stencils that were designed by designers. So
I was like, okay, I didn't know about this other artistic side. Well, I know that you love making things beautiful. Like you love making your home beautiful. You love just all the things which we'll get into with your brand. So I'm not surprised at the connection, but it also shows that, you do have a business sense about you. Like you have a business background. I used to do real estate too. So, I mean, it's no joke. It's not like you just get listings and stuff. You really got to work it. And so I'm sure going online, you were like, what? I need to go in the DMs versus like cold calling people, So I agree with you. I love the online perspective. So when you were in direct sales and you still are, and you're like, okay, I'm loving this, like I'm loving the social media piece to it and being able just to build that way. How did you start on social media with your brand? Because you built an incredible brand. And for you guys tuning in with us, she's built a following in the hundreds of thousands across her different platforms and a multiple six-figure business. But go back to before that all happened. So before you got to that first six figures where you're like the little engine that could of like, okay, I'm making money, but like it's not like big time money yet. In that space of the unknown, how did you get going with your brand and like social media?
Well, first of all, I started hiring coaches. When my business began to stall, you'd grow. And at first, $500 a month was amazing. And then $1,000 a month. And then you get to the point where you're like, okay, but I want more. Like it's not enough just to be able to do a fun trip. Like I want to move into a bigger house. That was a huge thing for me. And we're currently looking for a new house, which is so exciting. But I just wanted more, and that's the competitiveness in me. And so the first thing I did to start leveling up was hiring coaches. And it started with, a coach that cost $1,000 for 3 months. And then I worked my way up as my business grew. And I eventually had the honor and privilege of hiring Kimberly or working with Kimberly in her various coaching programs. So I'm a huge proponent of coaching. And the biggest thing I saw through coaching was that my coaches would see things and potential in me that I couldn't see, and they recognized like my greatness. And so there was a lot of mindset work of, oh, okay, if they see that, why don't I see that? And having to, work towards believing that in myself, which was a lot of mindset, a lot of personal development. But then also just recognizing that I didn't have to be somebody other than myself. And stepping into my own authenticity is when my brand really exploded. When I quit looking at, I need to try and be like her, I need to do what she's doing, and just showing up. I'm a little bit quirky. I'm really forgetful, and I'm always running late. And I just started sharing who I am. And I found out that there are a lot of women like me out there. And those are the people that I connect with, and they trust me. And that's really what sales is just getting people to know, like, and trust you. Another thing I did was I really niched down, and I quit trying to be everything for everyone. And I don't know if you would recommend this for everybody, but I started showing up even in the sense of my politics and my beliefs and sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I had so many uplines tell me, don't do that, stay away from it. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to connect with people if I have to hide who I am. Like, my faith and my conservative beliefs are a huge part about who I am. And so why, if I'm talking about it with my friends in real life, why would I not share that online? And so it was terrifying because the world makes us feel like people only think one way. Well, they don't, and so I've been able to find the people who really agree and appreciate that I'm open and I share those things. And it's just created an incredible relationship between me and my followers that carries over into them trusting me with the products and things that I recommend.
Yeah, because it's real. And I want to commend you for that, because I was able to experience that a little bit during the pandemic, and I was doing so much research because with having PhDs, yes, I'm not a medical doctor, but I know how to research. Like, that's what I was trained to do. And so I would share what I was finding, and I would get the most polarizing comments and DMs. And I was like, that's okay. Like, it's totally okay that you believe something different. This is what I believe, and I feel passionate to share what I believe and why, and I think it's so interesting because it is a cancel culture. And also I'm excited for us to get to a place where, like, you and I actually have pretty much the same beliefs on everything, but like, let's say we had a different beliefs, that we can have a healthy discussion about it. Or on my platform, I can say, this is what I believe. And on your platform, you can say what you believe. Like, can it just be that? And I'm just looking forward to that. And it's pioneers like you that say, I'm unapologetically going to share what I believe because this is my belief, and our beliefs make up who we are. And you, by doing that, you're showing people, one, that that's what it looks like. You're giving them permission. And two, how powerful is that as you as a mom? I mean, you're an influencer, but like, you're a mom, like, you're showing your kids, like, you stand up for what you believe in. And we've really lost that. So I want to commend you for that. I'm just so inspired by you. And I'm very passionate about all the things as well. And also, I also have a really, really strong faith that I believe that God has us here for this opportunity to use social media for good. I truly believe that. So when you were going through the mindset shifts to say, like, you were worthy and you were valuable and you had something to say and offer and people would be interested, how did you anchor in your faith during that time? Like, do you do devotionals each day? Like, how do you stay so rooted in your faith, but then show up so powerfully?
There was actually a podcast series around the time when I was praying and being like, God, what am I supposed to do? And it's by a gentleman named Andrew Womack, and I can totally send you the link and you can link it below. But it was a podcast series just about how God wants you to succeed, and not like what's the prosperity gospel, where it's like, you can just pray and you'll get rich. It's not like that. It's like, God wants you to succeed. And if you lean into your giftings and your abilities and the things that he has, that you can sense in your spirit, like, I'm supposed to be sharing this. I'm supposed to stand up for this. And so once I accepted that and I realized that this isn't about what the masses think of me. This is about, am I honoring what God is calling me to do and standing up for the truths that he has instilled in me? Everything shifted and everything changed. And that doesn't mean it wasn't scary. It was. And it took faith to stand up and be like, nope, this is about God. This is not about impressing people or being vanilla, or, the Bible talks about we're not supposed to be lukewarm. And so I really had to make that decision that no matter what it cost me as far as followers or finances, that I was going to do what I felt God calling me to do. And as he is always, he was faithful and my business exploded.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful testament to, and I believe that too. And it's just so cool to see it in real time. And like I said, you're just showing other people this is what that looks like. And that just like lights me up. So with social media, I know you were on Facebook first, and then, Instagram started getting that going, because everybody's been on Facebook forever, but you definitely, started building up on Instagram as well. And even there was a time I know when you didn't have your Facebook account for a little bit and you were like, oh my gosh, my income has hardly taken a dip, because you diversified platforms. So can you tell us how you were already on Facebook, you had your Facebook group, your wall, all that, and then you went over to Instagram over a year ago now. How did you manage both of those platforms? And then how are you doing your content strategy? Because you guys, we'll put the links and you can follow Tracy on Instagram. I do want all of you guys to follow her. And if you've done my trainings, I always mention Tracy as examples of like, this is how you do it, because that is how you build through short form video content and your stories. But how did you make that leap over there to handle all the things? Because you have, more than one kiddo now. So you're really, really active with your family and your kids. How did you get over there? And then how are you handling the amount of content you're putting out?
So I really leaned into what was trending. Back when live videos were trending, I was all about the live videos. And then this shift into short form video happened and I loved it. It was a learning curve, but it's so much easier to create a video that you can edit and retake versus going live. And I just say, sometimes I'm like, I can't believe I just said that on live video, And so I loved that I could kind of polish it up. So I committed to creating one reel a day or publishing one reel a day. And I said I would do that for 90 days. And I didn't care if I had huge results or no results. I was going to commit to it for 90 days. And I also always have these words in the back of my mind whenever I venture into a new type of content: embrace the suck. Like, my first reel sucked and it was okay. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about making progress. And every time I had a reel that flopped, I'd learn something. And every time I had a reel that did well, I'd learn something. So I just looked at it like there is no losing here. I'm going to learn either way. And so at the end of 90 days, I am a big believer in repurposing content. If I'm going to create a reel, I'm going to post it in all the places. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I first blew up on TikTok, which is ironic because TikTok doesn't really like me. Yeah, I had a reel go viral with like 1.5 million views. Didn't make me any money. Like, that's the thing people don't always understand. Just because something go viral doesn't mean you don't. But then it was Facebook was the first area where I was really exploding. And Instagram, I was shadow banned. Like, I know people always say that, but I legit was shadow banned. When you searched me, you couldn't find me. They would not let people tag me in stories if they wanted to share something of mine. They would say, you can't because I've been too inappropriate. Like, oh my, you're just speaking your truth. Having an opinion is what they were saying. All I was doing was, I think I said something mean about Bill Gates or something. And they were like, nope, you're done. But so I was like, I'm never going to grow on Instagram, but I'm making this content anyway. I might as well repurpose it over there. And apparently when you have God on your side and you're consistent as heck, you can even beat the Instagram algorithm, because I ended up under 1,000 followers to over 100,000 followers in a year. Drop the mic. That's incredible. It's incredible, Tracy. Thank you. But I was super consistent and I didn't see those results after the 90 days of posting. I still had no followers on Instagram. But again, I was like, it's an extra 5 minutes to repurpose stuff over there. And I always did my stories. I like recording stories in Instagram. So I record them there and share them to Facebook. So I just say, never count yourself out. And just keep sharing the content because you never know where things are going to take off. And now I would say that the way I'm able to put out so much content is I've hired people to help me. I have always been good at delegating. If I'm not good at something or I don't enjoy it, I'm going to find somebody who's better at it and pay them to do it. But then I've also I haven't gotten cocky or arrogant, like, oh, I don't need to keep putting out content now. I still do a reel a day unless there's some extreme circumstance where I can't. I batch a lot of content so that on the days when I'm like, I don't have it in me, I have something else to post. And I just continue showing up authentically in my stories. And I don't pay attention. I refuse to let, if my story views are down, if my reel views are down, I refuse to let that get in my head. I've been here long enough to know that it kind of ebbs and flows. And if I'm down this month, I'll probably be up next month. And so I don't get in my head. And that also has come with coaching and all the mindset work. It's like, you can't let 1 week or 1 month define you. You just have to keep on staying persistent. And that is always, consistency is key, always.
It is. And I love that you said that about the 90 days where you're like, and there still wasn't any followers. Like, so many people will go, and then they don't see the results or their views drop or, engagement's down and they're just like, forget it. And I'm like, no, don't forget it. Forget those numbers and keep going. So with the comment about the viral videos, I think there's a lot of creators out there that are not making money. And so people are so hung up on those vanity metrics. And at the end of the day, who cares? We're doing this to obviously, influence others in a positive way, add value, make a difference in the world, obviously, and to make income from our efforts online. How are you finding the best ways to use call to action? Taking people, are you driving them to DMs? Are you driving them to, and you use Stan, which I learned Stan from you, and it's the best ever. It's basically replacing like your milkshake or Linktree. Are you driving people to Stan to click through? And you are in direct sales, but you also are an influencer, so you partner with brands. How are you using your content to actually convert, basically, is my question.
Yeah, so I do use Stan. I have Like to Know It. But I'm very repetitive. If I find something that works, I just do it over and over and over again. So I always have a hook and a call to action in my videos. And I ask people to comment me, and then I will message them, and you can use ManyChat or VAs, but I will message people links. And I really feel that that helps my algorithm as well, because rather than just saying like, hey, shop the link in my bio, I'm also having conversations with them in Messenger. And so I'm very redundant about that. If you go and watch my content, you will see a call to action at the end of every video. And it's usually comment me for something.
And that's cool, because if you guys think about your own buying behaviors, if there's a link hand delivered to you, and I've gotten, different things from you over time because you'll text it to me, it's right there. And sometimes I'll email it to myself to do it later. But if you had said, oh, on the video, if I watch it and you're like, yeah, click the link in my bio, I'm like, okay, yeah, later. And then what happens? I don't do it. I'll forget about it. Yeah, I'm on to the next reel because everything's 10 seconds, right? So I think that's really smart. And then it gives you an opportunity to build a relationship in the DM and get to know them. And, you can go from there, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm hearing consistency. I'm hearing every day. I'm hearing commitment. I'm hearing just keep your eye on the prize and don't worry about what people think, what they say. Don't worry about the algorithm, the views, any of that. Just focus on what you're doing in your business and just keep going, and it will work for you. It just will. It's just deciding you'll keep going until, right? I mean, is that a fair thing to say to people? Like, just keep going until you figure it out.
Yeah, if you really want it, one of my first mentors said this. He said, who cares if it takes you 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? Like, that time is going to pass anyway. So if you truly believe that this is what you're called to do, and there are people out there that need to connect with you, which that's something I tell my team all the time. I'm like, it doesn't matter how many followers I have. There are people that can watch every single one of my reels and they're never going to connect with me, but they see one of yours and they see themselves in you, and they're going to buy from you instead of me. And so just knowing that there are people out there that God has for you to reach. And if you don't show up and share your truth, your product, your solution to their problem, nobody's going to reach them because God intended for you to reach them.
Yes, I love that. It's so beautiful. And it's so true. And you don't need to compare your chapter 1, guys, to her chapter 20. This is your own journey. And you don't need to compare. You just need to know it's your own experience. And your people will find you. You will have your own followers. And you literally just need like 100 loyal followers. That's it to get this thing started. You get 100 loyal followers, you can turn that to 1,000 and keep going from there. And I love that. Like, don't put a timeline on it. If it's a year, 5 years, I mean, what's the alternative? Like, you know what I mean? You're at a job you don't love or staying home wondering like how you can contribute financially. Like, put your head down and do the work. And it will pay off for you. So I would love for everyone to go follow Tracy so you can see this in real time. So what is your Instagram? Where should they go?
I am the Tracy Lane.
Okay. And it's Tracy Lane. And Tracy is Tracy. And Lane is Lane. If you're just listening and you're not writing this down, because I know how that goes. We'll also include links to, she has a workshop, you guys. And it's so worth grabbing. She'll show you how she went from 1,000 followers to over 100,000 followers. So we'll include the link for that. And then she's going to give us the Andrew Womack series. You can send that to me. Okay.
Yes.
All right. You'll send that to me and I'll include that below for you guys that are, checking the show notes or, wherever you're watching this with us. So you're a boss. I'm grateful to know you and get to work with you. And you really are making a positive difference in this world. And you are absolutely shining your light brightly. And that's what we're called to do. And you're doing it. So thank you for everything that you're doing.
Well, thank you. I adore you. And I'm so thankful that I've gotten to know you and been influenced by you in my business, because you definitely know what you're doing. And stay coachable, people. Like, that's the other thing.
Stay coachable. Yes.
Stay coachable. If what you're doing isn't working, ask a top seller what they're doing and then do what they're doing.
Amen. Yes. I love that. Thank you. And you guys, thank you for watching or listening, however you're finding this episode. We appreciate you. Until next time, get lit in your business and set your soul on fire. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.